guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is actually going to be a story time, and I'm actually really excited to do a story time with you guys because I haven't done one before. And I guess like with the medical field, sometimes story times could be a little murky. You want to be careful what you say, you don't want to give patient information, blah blah blah. But today I definitely wanted to tell you guys about two situations. My first code blue, and also my first code blue by myself, so I'll get into it. But I am super excited to be making this video. But while you're at it, pull up a chair, stay a while, subscribe, okay? I'm gonna be doing a 5K subscriber giveaway. Instructions to be coming soon to you guys, so stay tuned for that. And also definitely, if you have any questions, I'm also going to be doing a Q&A soon, so leave some questions down below if you do have any. And while we're at it, give this video a thumbs up and let's get into the video. Okay, so boom, right? Every good story starts like that. But let me just get into it. I don't want this video to be super long, but if you don't know already, I am 2 years in the game as a registered nurse, but this story is going to be from when I was like brand new on orientation. If you don't know, I work at a level 1 trauma center in the emergency room in New York. So just put all of those things together and like just chaos. Okay, so with that being said, this emergency department is very busy. I mean, the level 1s are level 1s, you know, gunshots, stab wounds, cardiac arrests, constantly. I was on orientation at the time, and my current preceptor was on vacation, so I was with another preceptor, and my preceptor was so amazing, so great, and she wanted me to see a code so bad. Even like as a new nurse though, fresh out of school, I was terrified. I was like, please don't let nobody come in here, cardiac arrest. I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm gonna just stand in the back. Like, I was so scared, like so just an anxious like new nurse. But I was also like grateful that this did happen on orientation, because now that I had the support of a nurse, when it happened by myself, I kind of knew what to do. So at the end of the day, I was with this preceptor that's not my normal one, and we had 3 patients because we were on the ICU side. We call it, I'm not gonna say because I don't want to give my hospital away, but pretty much it's what you would consider the ICU side of this emergency department, because these patients, it's only about 10 beds in this small unit because it's so critical in this side. These patients are intubated, sedated, cardiac arrest, respiratory distress, seizures. I mean, you name it. If they're critical, they're coming there. If they just came from trauma, they're coming here. Head bleed, this side. So this is the side that I was working on, and we had 3 critical patients, and one of the patients came in for respiratory distress and needed to be intubated. So at this point, I never, obviously I'm not intubating the patient, but I am the one who's ACLS certified, and I am qualified to push sedating meds. So there's 2 medications that I remember my preceptor making me aware of. When someone comes in, they need to be intubated, they're in respiratory distress, and they're not sure if this patient can maintain their airway, she always let me know there's critical ACLS meds that you need to be aware of, and as the ER nurse, you are allowed to push them, and you will be pushing them because the attending, the resident, the PA, whoever is going to be the one intubating them, and you're the one with the IV access and has to get this medication ready. Anyway, I'm asking the doctor, okay, how much of etomidate and how much of rock? These are 2 meds that I always remember that my preceptor told me. And she's like, you're an ER nurse, right? So etomidate, you want to push etomidate first because it's a sedative. So you want to put the patient to sleep first before you push sucks or rock. I'll put the name of this on the bottom because I'm not even going to kill myself trying to pronounce these words. But I know rocuronium. And you want to push etomidate before rock because you don't want to paralyze somebody before putting them to sleep. Either way, you're an ER nurse, so you're going to push E first and then R, etomidate and then rock. That's what I remember. So if you are ER nurse in training or in school, whatever, trust me, everyone has their preference, but that acronym helped me so much. I never forgot it even till this day. So I'm getting the etomidate ready, and I'm like, how much of etomidate, how much of rock? And the doctor's screaming out, give me 20 of etomidate, give me 100 of rock. I'm like, okay. I'm trembling because my nurse is like, my preceptor's like, do you want to push it? And I'm like, okay, I guess. What am I saying? No. So I'm getting everything ready. I'm getting my flushes and everything's happening so fast. They're getting, you know, the scope ready and all this stuff like that. And I'm getting everything ready. So I have all of my meds in my hand. And one thing that's so important with pushing these critical ACLS meds are labeling, because you are having a blunt needle, you have a syringe, you're drawing up that etomidate in a vial. You need to make sure that that you're pushing the right thing. All of these things are clear. So once you drop that etomidate, I need to slap a label on that so fast, because I need to know I'm pushing this. And then before I push it, I need to verbalize out loud, I am pushing 30 of etomidate, right? No, I said 40. What? That's how mistakes can be made. So you need to make sure you're labeling that through and through, and you're shouting it once, twice, I don't care how many times before you push that medication, to make sure that the nurse to doctor communication is accurate. Anyway, 30 of etomidate, 100 of rock. I have everything. I have my flushes. My preceptor standing right there next to me. Okay, patients on the monitor. Everyone's ready to go, and they're looking at me. You ready? I said, okay. Shit, you have to give all these meds super fast. So I'm like trembling, trying to connect it to the IV port, and I push the etomidate. I push the rock. Everything goes in. Everything's good. So at this point, you know, my job is done as far as pushing the meds. I'm watching the monitor, making sure everything's okay. Guys, within literally like 3 minutes, because to me, I felt so accomplished. I did this. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell my preceptor. This is amazing. And literally, I get told by the PA who was intubating the patient, and he looks at me. He's like, Ashley, put the bed down. Put the bed down. Put the bed down. To me, I don't know why he's telling me to do that, because, you know, the patient is elevated high so that the MD can kind of see him and looking in the scope and is intubating him. So the bed was high per the doctor's level. So I'm like, why am I putting the bed down? At this point, everyone's looking at the monitor. I'm just like, I'm new here. What's happening? I couldn't pick up on the signs. I didn't hear anything. So all I hear is, Ashley, put the bed down. Somebody check for a pulse. The alarm wasn't dinging yet. The patient monitor wasn't dinging, so I couldn't understand what was going on. Either way, I step on the bed brakes, put the bed all the way down, and my preceptor that day looks at the monitor and she's like, oh shoot, and just jumps on him and starts doing chest compressions. While she was doing that, another I don't know if she was a PA at the time, I'm not really sure, but she pulls down the sheets and she checks the femoral pulse. Nobody felt a pulse. He asked me to check a pulse, and I didn't know that the femoral was the preferred way, so I'm sitting here checking the little radial, because from my little blood pressure, manual blood pressure, that's what I was checking before in school. So I was like, I was not prepared for this situation. You can talk about it all you want. It doesn't matter. Until you're in that situation, you don't know how you're going to act, and you don't know what you're going to do. But thankfully, like, I came to, but pretty much my preceptors doing chest compressions and all this, and people like, get the crash cart, get this, get that, get that. Obviously, this is my first time. She knows this is my first time. A lot's going on really fast, and I'm in there. I'm watching her, and I'm getting ready to take over to do chest compression when she gets tired. But as she's giving chest compressions, we've only been doing the code at least for, let's say, 5 minutes, right? For lack of better time, because I really don't know. But let's say 5 minutes goes by. Next thing you know, I hear somebody say, check the next room, or check this patient. We had 3 patients at the time. Obviously, we're in a code, so this is our most critical patient. So I hear somebody check room 8, check room 8. We were in 7. And I'm like, what? Why? What are we doing? Come out. Y'all, what a patient in room 8 in VTech. Pulseless VTech at that, okay? Because there's a difference between someone who's in VTech who has a pulse and someone who's in VTech who doesn't, right? So I am like, you got to be kidding me. Why is my first time in what you would call a code blue, why are 2 patients coding at the same time? Excuse me? Nobody in my life that I've spoken to, no nurse, no doc, has had that situation happen to them. This was such a freak accident, but I'm like, of course this would happen to me. Of course. Like, I'm just like, You gotta be kidding me. So y'all, as that code was going on and my preceptor was doing chest compressions to that one, she told, because obviously I'm a new grad at this point, so I'm helping, but there needs to be a senior nurse with me because what is going on right now. So she tells the PA, take over the compressions here, let me go assess the other situation. We're shaking the patient and we're like, hey, like, wake up, like checking his pulse, no response. She jumps on that guy, starts doing chest compressions. At this point, we have one crash cart within that area, so we're now like telling people, get the other crash cart from the other side. We like, at this point, it was all hands on deck. You know, our charge nurse is there helping and everything. This was the most craziest situation that could have ever happened to me, and I'll never forget it. And that literally was my first code. Long story short, unfortunately, the patient in the first room, he didn't pass away on our shift. We were able to stabilize him. We received ROSC, and it was the end of our shift, and we heard when we came back the next morning, we were in the same district, unfortunately, from the night nurse, that he passed away on the night shift. The other patient ended up waking up after we did a few rounds of chest compressions, and then we also found that that patient later on passed away as well. Y'all, I don't know. At this point, like, me speaking and telling the story today, this happened 2 years ago, but it's just crazy that I never verbalized this. I think I was such in a state of shock, and I was on orientation. I questioned my whole entire life. I said, I'm sorry, one, do I want to work here? Do I want to be an ER nurse? Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? But y'all, yes, that did happen. But with working in an emergency room though, you are rapid response. So a lot of times I would speak to my other nurses that work in med surge or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, you know, if this happens, I'm calling rapid response. It wasn't until that moment in the hospital, in the ER that I realized, like, oh shoot, I'm rapid response. I'm rapid response. Like, cries internally. Like now that I got my feet wet, I have experience, I have more confidence, it's different. But back then, girl, your girl was shaking her boots. I was like, yeah, no, this is not it. So the only time that you are allowed to call a rapid response on a patient is if that patient is already admitted. So you're just calling a rapid response to let the team know upstairs, hey, your patient down here is not doing so well, so you need to come down now. But even so, I'm ACLS certified. So even if something was to happen, I am still qualified to act immediately with ACLS protocols depending on the situation. And now let's say they're not admitted, the patient just came in through the door, cardiac arrest. I am primary, now I'm the one that's responsible for this. Y'all, that was my first one, and I was traumatized after that. But the realization about that is because that was my first experience with colds, your girl, cardiac arrest, what? I knew what to do. You couldn't tell me nothing. I had two at the same time. Who gonna beat me? Who better than cold blues than me? Okay, so I at this point like got my feet wet. No, I didn't even get my feet wet. I got pushed into cold blues. So that was my first experience with that. If you guys want to know about my own personal experience, about my time with my own first cold blue by myself, let me know. I have no problem sharing that with you guys. If there's any other story times that I can share with you guys, I would love to. I love these stories because I feel like we have so many funny nursing stories, but I feel like mine was so crazy that I had to come on camera and share with you guys. But yes, also I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.